Hello fellow book nerds, Emmy Walker here today to do my June book haul, and I have an announcement as seen in the title of this video. I'm just gonna go ahead and start off with the announcement. It's become clear to me that I do not have nearly the amount of time as I once had to not only film videos but also to read books to make it worthwhile to actually do these videos. While it's not necessary to read, 1,000 books in a month or even 100 or even 10, I feel like if I'm going to be doing these videos, I should be at least reading upwards towards 5. And I'm having trouble now reading even 1 book sometimes a month. And it's not going to stop me from reading. I'm still going to be reading the books, even though I'm not doing booktube. I'm still going to read books, obviously. I can't stop from doing that, but it's just the amount of books I will read in any given month or year is going to be slightly terribly diminished really since in past years. That will definitely change when my kids are a little bit older, but right now I have both of them are taking up a lot of my time, and I don't want to miss them growing up because I'm sitting there reading. While I do love reading, I love my children more and I want to watch them grow, and I just can't ignore them so that I can do something that I love, and I'm gonna have plenty of time to read. My dad always said you'll have plenty of time to read when you're waiting up at night for them to come home and you're worried about them being sick and things like that. So I'll have plenty of time to read then, and not that I won't read ever again, now this year, even this month, but I just won't be reading anywhere near the kind of books or the amount of books that I'm going to need to read to keep up with a booktube channel. I will continue to watch booktube while they sleep and things like that, and I'm glad that all of you that have watched me for these past, it was over a year now, I'm thankful for you that you've watched my videos. I really appreciate it, and I'm sorry to be leaving you, and maybe I might come back if I ever get a chance to read more, but at that point I'll probably be several years older, and who knows if I'll want to do that. But anyway, so I do apologize for leaving you like this and not really giving you a whole lot after my second kid came along, but I enjoyed the ride for that first year. So thank you again for watching me, and I really appreciate that. Now, if you're still with me now watching this video, you get to enjoy the book haul. It's quite a big book haul. I got 2 boxes from Book Outlet, and I got several books from Half Price Books and a couple from Barnes & Noble, so let's get started on that. So the first 2 books I'm going to show you here are going to be the ones I got from Barnes & Noble. First one is Empire of Night, thank you, Empire of Night by Kelly Armstrong. This is the second book in the, I honestly don't know what the trilogy is called, but the first one was that Sea of Shadows. This is the second book. I'm just going to continue on with that series. The next book is the 3rd book in this, I honestly don't know, A Memoir by Lady Trent, I think is what the series is, because that's the only thing that stays consistent with these books. This one is Voyage of the Basilisk by Marie Brennan, and this is the 3rd book in that series, trilogy. I think there are 4 at least, so saga. The first book I picked up was Trickster's Choice by Tamara Pierce. This is from, okay, so the Song of the Lioness series was the first, not the first that she wrote, I don't know. But anyway, that Tamara Pierce wrote, but this is, Alana was the main character of the Song of the Lioness series, and this is Alana's daughter. This follows her perspective. So it's in that same world. I think Tortol is the country, but it's in that same world, but following, several years later. Next up, I got Spyglass by Maria V. Snyder. This is one of the books in the study series. She starts off with the poison study, magic study, fire study, and then she goes into the sea glass, spyglass, and something glass, and I think these ones are from a different perspective. It's set in the same world, but they're still technically in the same series, but they're separate series. It's very weird when you look it up on Goodreads versus, like Amazon or things like that. It's very strange as to where exactly these books belong, but I think that she went through several different publishers, so that's another reason why they're kind of all wonky out of the order, but this is book 5, I believe, in the official, series of the books you should read. Yeah. Next up, I got books 2 and 3 of the Aporson trilogy. That's Liriel and Aporson. I already have book 1, which is Sabriel, I believe, but I have it in mass paperback format, and I think they had it in the store in this, this trade paperback version, but I wasn't 100% sure if I wanted to get it or not since I already owned it. I don't know. I think in retrospect, it seems silly I should have gotten all 3 of them, but I didn't, so too late. And the final book I picked up from Half Price Books was Storm Siren by Mary Weber. This is a book I actually saw Benjamin over at Benjamin of Tomes mention, and I believe it's an elemental story. I don't know anything else outside of that, but I was surprised to see it. I thought this was like a lesser known author, so I was surprised to see it at Half Price Books, and I couldn't pass it up. Now we'll go ahead and talk about the books from Book Outlet. The first book I'm going to show you here is Night Shadow by Sebastian de Castell. I saw these books, the first one's called Traitor's Blade, and the most recent one is Saint's Blood. It just came out, I think, this month, June, that is, and I think it's going to be the last one. Anyway, so Traitor's Blade, if I remember correctly, it's about, they were knights that were working, you know, they were under the king, but until they stood aside and they let the king be killed, and now they're traitors. And so it's just kind of following that group of people. I'm assuming it's following one specific person within the group. But anyway, I saw Sam over at Sam's Nonsense. I think that's her new channel name. It was Novels and Nonsense, and now I believe it is Sam's Nonsense. But anyway, she mentioned it and really had a lot of good things to say about it, and so I couldn't pass it away when I saw it on Book Outlet. Next up is Invasion of the Tearling, The Invasion of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. This is book 2 in the Queen of the Tearling books. I haven't read the first one yet. I've only heard great things about it. And again, this is another thing I saw, you know, on Book Outlet. I think it's scratch and dent. I'm not really sure. It's not too damaged. It's just kind of like the dust jacket's a little bit wonky, but either way, it was cheap and I couldn't pass it up. Next, I got Trickster's Queen by Tamara Pierce. This is the sequel to Trickster's Choice, which I mentioned a little bit ago, so this is just the continuation of that. And finally, in this box, I picked up books 2 and 7 in the Merlin series. Number 7 is Doomraga's Revenge, and then book 2 is The Seven Songs. I actually already have this book, but only in a mass paperback, so as you've heard me say before, I'd like to get all of these books in the same format. And I think I only have one or two more to go. I don't know, I'm so close though. Next up in my second box of Book Outlet books, I got The Tropic of Serpents. This is the second book in the Memoir of Lady Trent series. It's by Marie Brennan. It's another dragon book. This the first book, The Natural History of Dragons, was recommended to me by a booktuber, and I always forget who it is, and I'm sorry about that. I've mentioned it before, but it was recommended to me, and I haven't started it, but I have a good feeling I'm going to enjoy it, and they're hard to come by, so when I saw them in at Book Outlet. As per usual, when I see books at Book Outlet, I couldn't pass it up. And then adding to my Diana Wynne Jones collection is A Tale of Time City, and I honestly have no idea what this one is about. I'm honestly just collecting her books because I love her as an author, and I've only read a few of her books before, so I maybe might be jumping the gun, but what I've read I loved, and I can't imagine I'll like anything less than what I've liked so far. And then maybe 1 or 2 months ago, I got the first and the third book in this trilogy. It's the Becca Cooper trilogy by Tamara Pierce. This is the second book I finally found, which is called Bloodhound, and so now I've completed the trilogy, and I feel very, very complete now. And finally, while it is not the cover I was expecting, I almost had a heart attack because I almost missed it. If I hadn't, because typically when I go on Book Outlet, I have like a wish list and I just kind of look at my wish list to see if they've arrived. But there are other like ISBNs that could potentially come in that are not going to fit my wish list, so I have to check every once in a while. If I hadn't checked, I wouldn't have seen this and it would have been gone. I'm sure it would be gone because there's only one copy and they don't usually last around. Anyway, the book is Traitor's Blade by Sebastian de Castell, and you saw earlier that I got the second book, but I couldn't get the first one, and it was so expensive everywhere else, and I didn't want to spend so much money on something I wasn't 100% sure of, but I was just about to because I really wanted to read it, and I couldn't find it at Half Price Books, and I like Amazon, but I try not to order from Amazon if I can help it, because then I end up ordering candy hearts, and nobody needs me to eat candy hearts all day, because that's what I do. Anyway, so this is the first book, and this is not the original cover. I can't get my book here. So that's Night Shadow. Traitor's Blade is very similar to this. I think it's red up here, but it's a different figure, but it's very similar to that, so it's not this at all. But I like this one. I actually had a similar idea for my own book, my assassin book coming up, that would be a blade stabbing a map with blood. It's just really weird, so it's good that I saw this so that I can pick a new idea, because it's clearly not that original, but it's very cool. Yeah. Anyway, so those are all the books I purchased in June, with the exception of a few that I think I mentioned at the end of May. And this is to be my last video indefinitely. I hope to come back at some point. And again, I thank you all for watching these videos and, joining me on my weird attempt to try BookTube, and I do hope that I will come back. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to well, you don't have to like and subscribe if you don't want to, because I may not be coming back. But if you'd like to like the video, I wouldn't mind, and comment whatever your thoughts on these books, and if you read any of them, and I will still be reading the comments because I can at least do that. All right, so long, book nerds.